Okay, I need to share this story with y'all because I just got finished tearing up impromptu about Malcolm Jamal Warner. I think it's going to happen randomly. Shout out to those who really understand and feel this loss because this wasn't supposed to happen. I know there's a lot going on in the world, but can we just focus on Malcolm Jamal Warner for 1 second? I just got to tell a story, and it's important. Um, Yesterday, when he passed, I was driving through the Starbucks parking lot. I mean, driving through the drive-through, and I was on the phone with a friend, a little brother of mine, not biological, but spiritual little brother, who just happened to turn 40. And as I'm picking up my Starbucks from the young woman, young sister, she looks to be about, she told me she was 18. And so I'm telling her, because, I talk too much to people. And as I'm talking to him on speakerphone, I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be rude, but, Malcolm Jamal Warner just passed and we're talking about it. And I was like, Malcolm Jamal Warner, like the Cosby Show. And she was like, no, I don't know who that is. And I was like, no, the Cosby Show, the Huxtables. And she was like, no. And so my brother, love him, just turned 40 and is truly realizing the impacts of 40 in this moment, because I think this is a just turned 40 moment. He gets upset and he's like, what you mean she don't know who Malcolm Jamal Warner is? And I'm calming him down, like, it's okay. She's 18. Like, we have to accept it. Like, people are younger. They weren't around. And then da-da-da. He was like, no, this is inexcusable. I know things about things that I wasn't around for. And, it's funny because I was trying to calm him down, but I really understood what he meant. And I felt that, right? Because, like, a lot of us were raised by parents who introduced us to things that definitely weren't around in our lifetime. Like, I watched Alfred Hitchcock movies with my dad because that was of his time, right? And maybe this girl is 18 years old. So her parents at the very, would think, are 18 years older, so that's 36. So, like, does the Cosby Show? My point is that, here's the deal, y'all. Because I started to get angry as I realized that my little brother is right. She should know, because we should continue to tell our history. I can assume that there were no grandparents in her home, but like, Chris is right. Like, when it comes to the way that we were raised, we were always given history lessons via music, via just lifestyle. And it made me think about, and I'm not doing this as a selling point, but I'm really happy that I decided to start a collection for my dad and his photos, which provide a history. And this whole time I was trying to do other things. Hold on. So on my dad's birthday, I released this website, the St. Clair Collection. And our first few releases of merchandise are all about giving you context and history of us. We recently lost Roy Ayers, and my dad has a very unique story about how he was asked by Roy to shoot an album cover. And so to honor Roy, we're giving you that wearable art as a t-shirt. And Nikki Giovanni, my dad had a beautiful day with Nikki Giovanni in the 1970s, and he captured these beautiful shots of her face. And we remember her, and we say her name. Teddy Pendergrass. Teddy Pendergrass. Teddy Pendergrass is a name we cannot forget. Therefore, we did something really special with the Teddy Pendergrass image that my father grabbed from a Black Caucus concert back in the early 80s. It's called Turn Off the Lights. We have a dress and we have a hoodie. And also, because my father came up in a certain time in New York, amazing creative time, we like to call it the last of the new children, because really his generation of creatives felt like the first Black folks to really jump out of the box and do what they wanted to do, make their own statements. And I say that because the next item I wanted to talk about was the Fred Benjamin dancers. Fred Benjamin was an amazing dancer, choreographer from New York, and in the dancing community, folks know his name. Fred worked with Alvin Ailey. He worked with Philadelphia. He choreographed for all these people. And my father was not only friends with Fred, he was friends with a lot of the dancers. And so he would just take photos during rehearsal. They would do photo shoots, just frolicking as creative Black people. So that shirt is called "Pose for the Pause for the Pose," as he captured some of the Fred Benjamin dancers just frolicking in a day in New York and posing in front of Lincoln Center. Very fly. Um, and last but not least, in talking about preserving history, uh, Martin Luther King. It's funny. It makes me think about the news and how those tapes were released yesterday to distract. Hey, but listen, I'm not here to distract. I'm here to celebrate. And Martin Luther King has a birthday in his name because a lot of people marched and protested and rallied. And my father was there in Washington, D.C., in the cold at many a rally, many a protest. So was I. I was little. And so that is another t shirt that we have put together as we celebrate how Dr. Martin Luther King Day became a holiday through the people. So yeah, we over here preserving history, wearing history, and continuing to say people's names because we can't have names like Malcolm Jamal Warner be lost. Too important.
Good morning and welcome to another edition of Let It Be Known. It's good to see you guys again. Niele, it's good to see you.
Peace and love, everybody, and welcome. We have a lot to talk about today. Lots of headlines, lots of sports headlines, and we're going to be checking in with Black Lives Matter Alabama about a young man who was murdered by police. But that video right there, Stacy, there's an update on what happened to Malcolm Jamal Warner. Yesterday, news broke that he was swimming with his 8-year-old daughter, and luckily some surfers were able to see what was happening and was able to save his daughter, unable to save him, and another man was pulled out as well. And so just more sadness coming out because, God bless his daughter. Who knows what she experienced while she was with her father. So we definitely want to keep the Malcolm Jamal Warner family in prayer. And let me just say this, that video, I'm so glad that she said that, Stacy, because I was feeling kind of like I don't want to be a Gen Xer. I want to stay young. But as I've been doing this show, I found my tribe, and I am proud to be a Gen Xer because, like she's saying, that younger generation they don't know nothing, nothing.
And y'all don't know. Wet behind the ears.
Wet
Um
behind the ears.
and I like how she did the whole. Remember when the part where she said about the King files? She said distraction, and she really it was like she was catching herself from being distracted. I like how she did that. If you watch, I like to watch people. I'm a people watcher. And it's like I can relate how she did the whole distraction thing. But yeah,
Yeah.
and the Malcolm Jamal Warner situation, you know, we don't know exactly what happened. And I was speculating last night when we heard that his daughter was in the water with him. Oftentimes, unfortunately, this is what happens. And I'm not saying this happened in this case, folks. Get it straight. But a child gets carried away by the current or whatever, riptide or whatever, and the parent goes after the child. And the parent, we've seen so many stories where the parent is the one who ends up in the same manner of Malcolm Jamal Warner. I'm not saying that happened, but it to me, in my mind, until you know, and unless the findings come out differently, he may have been trying to help his daughter because that's what parents do. People say, why was he swept away and not the daughter? Maybe that's why. We
Well,
don't know.
we do know that rip currents happen, and when it does, it impacts everybody that's, involved in it. And if they were out in the water,
Mhm.
of course his natural instinct is going to be to save his child.
Exactly.
But the rip current, it was another man as well. And I mean, and I
Hmm.
think that's what happens. Like you're in paradise, the water seems okay, you get in, and then all of a sudden Mother Nature takes her course
Hmm.
and you're caught in her wrath at that time. And so rip
Hmm.
currents are a very dangerous thing. And I know yesterday on the news they had the red flag on the sand. just, wish they would have had it during that time. And they could have had that warning as well. Because when you see the red flag, you absolutely should not. You barely should put your feet in the water if you see the red flag.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
so
And I just and real quick on the Malcolm Jamal Warner thing. Yesterday, obviously, we had Bill Cosby on, and the thing that among the more profound things, all of it was really profound to me, was the phone calls from Malcolm's mother and from Felicia Rashad that he received with the same exact reactions, in that it wasn't really much they could say, and that was really. That was really telling to me. And he also, just as a side note, he called me last night and wanted me to let everyone know that he was very thrilled to be on, and he wants to come back real soon with a special story, an exclusive worldwide story that has never been told, that he wants to tell exclusively to us. It's going to be up to you, me, and Greer to decide, he says, when that day will be, but he wants it to
what's
be
the story?
soon.
Is it about Malcolm?
No, it's no, and this is
Okay.
why we have to decide. It's
Okay.
it's about his experience after his trial,
Oh,
and
yeah.
he wants to tell us and only us that story. So look for that when you and I and Greer get together, and we we decide exactly when. He says he'll wait to hear from us, but he's ready to go at any point to do that. So folks, stay tuned. You haven't heard the last of Bill Cosby on Let It Be Known. But let's get to today. Two African American Democrats, Rep. Janelle Bynum of Oregon and Rep. Shamari Figures of Alabama, stand behind a bill that hands power back to the NCAA and slams the brakes on Black student athletes finally getting paid. It's HR 4312, the so-called SCORE Act, which many say is a wolf in sheep's clothing. And it really comes down, and we highlight these two. They're not the only two. Obviously, the Republicans are all for this because Trump wants to end NIL payments. But we highlight these two because it's really, again, for me, Niele, it makes me question where their money is coming from.
Okay. So they want to. I'm just trying to. So they want to get rid of. Donald Trump has already. Yeah. Well, Donald Trump has already said that. So we kind of know when he says something, then everybody else follows suit to support his executive orders. Right.
So but I would imagine that it has to be especially disappointing that you have these two Black Democrats backing this situation.
Okay, so okay, so they're Democrats. I mean, yeah, it's we need to be unified in our messaging no matter what. I mean, we're at war, we're at a congressional war, we're at a democracy war. And so, I mean, you can't comply or even align yourself in any way with the enemy. I mean, the line has been drawn in the sand.
And that's the point here.
And
They
so,
are aligning with the enemy. These two Black Democrats are
right.
aligning with the enemy. Why is that?
I mean, it could be the congressional districts that they sit in. I mean, I don't know, but at this point in the game, if this is the case, then the Democratic Party needs to pull they need to have a conversation. I know the Congressional Black Caucus met yesterday. And Hakeem Jeffries was saying for the first time they met in the Senate gallery or whatever. They went to the Senate side. And I think it was the first time. But when they have those meetings, you're saying they're Black, the Congressional Black Caucus in that meeting, they should have addressed this topic, in my opinion. Because the alignment
you
has
make
to
me
be
laugh.
solid. The alignment, no, but I mean, this is how politics work. Everybody knows
I understand
this.
that.
Yeah. And so this should have been one of their agenda items that they discussed. You know what I'm saying? Like, not just this topic, but just how not only Democrats, but especially the Congressional Black Caucus, they need to move as one. Okay, you know
Mm-hmm.
you're not going to get Byron Donalds. You know you're not going to get Tim Scott. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the Congressional Black Caucus as a whole. They need to move together. You know, I mean,
Mm-hmm. I
yeah.
tell you what, Lauren Burke, who has done one of the best jobs covering Congress for years, is up in arms about these two Democrats supporting this bill. She and I were texting about it, and she started the text, and she was just up in arms. How could they? And Shamari just got elected, so is he bought off already? Good Lord. So anyway,
I
we
mean,
will
they all
see.
do. They all do random things. We were talking about Cory Booker and how he was the only one to vote for one of Trump's appointees. So they
Mhm,
all do. You know, it's all based upon who they have, who they're receiving PAC money from.
mhm.
You know what I mean? Who their endorsements are. So you never know. But it would be since Lauren is on the front line, maybe she can get us some details about or talk to them about why they decided to do that. It'd be interesting to know.
Would there be a reason that you can stomach that they can
Um,
give you?
it's not about being it's about understanding. I might not agree with it, but I could understand it. I might not agree with the decision that they made 100%, but if you know the reason behind it, you might be able to say, okay, well, I understand why they did it. I still don't agree with it, but at this point we don't even understand why they did it.
Well, at this point, if you are supposedly a member of the CBC and you're backing any of this nonsense, then to me, there's no explanation you can give that is going to be palatable to Black folks.
Mm,
I
mhm.
just don't, unless you tell me that somebody had a gun to your head, literally, that your life was on the line.
I
Somebody
mean,
had family hostage.
but you could say that same way where it came out yesterday that Hakeem Jeffries and other Democrats still have not decided to endorse Mendami. What are you
They,
waiting for? So
yeah,
what I'm
that.
saying is like,
Mhm,
I mean, it's happening on multiple levels for multiple issues for different reasons. And it's just like,
mhm.
I just want to know why. Like, why is Hakeem Jeffries not endorsing Mendami? Why are other Democrats not endorsing Mendami when he's the Democratic candidate of New York for mayor? Why are you not endorsed? So what I'm saying is
Yeah.
it's like everybody there's a lot of reasons why a lot of people are going to piss you off. I just want to have understanding. May not agree with it, but if I know your why, then I'll be like, okay, that's your why. I don't agree with it, but I
Mhm.
understand.
Yeah, Dr. Nicole says some things you don't need to and will never understand is still just wrong. Um, and that's where I'm at with it. So, um, Donald Trump is scrambling because his name is in the Epstein files, and no amount of lawsuits can erase that, according to the Wall Street Journal, who is becoming more and more relentless with this story. And this journal is owned by Trump's own ally, Rupert Murdoch, and they are not backing down. Despite Trump suing the paper and its reporters, the journal confirms what senior administration officials have known for months. The Justice Department briefed Trump back in May that his name appears multiple times in Epstein's documents. And now, even Michael Wolff, the author that Trump had banned, has come out with tapes that suggest strongly that not only was he and Epstein best friends, quote unquote, best friends, but they talked openly about things about uh, relations with underage girls and also extramarital affairs.
Mhm.
It is as explosive. The Wall Street Journal is going all in and is as explosive as it can you can imagine.
Well, I mean, just everything is leaking now. I mean, if you go on your timeline, there was an interview with Howard Stern and Donald Trump, and they were talking about Lindsay Lohan, and he was talking about her freckles. She was just 18 at the time. They were talking about her freckles. He was talking about how much trouble she was, and he was saying, you know, it's the ones that get in trouble a lot are the ones that are best in bed. He said, now you might not be able to he said, now you might not be able to marry them, but you definitely can have a good time with them. Then there was another video that came out with Jeffrey Epstein, and they were interviewing him about Donald Trump. And they were asking him about the relationship and have you ever been with Donald Trump with underage girls? And he pled the fifth. And so and then more pictures are coming out. There's a carousel with Donald Trump and his daughter. What's her name? Ivanka, yeah. And I mean, these are pictures when she's 12, 11, and just very cringe-worthy photos of her on his lap, laying on him. Not like feeling like daddy daughter, but feeling like pedophile daughter. So I mean, I'm loving it. I just scroll down my timeline and I share them. I put them on my stories. I'm like, this is good.
It's just good.
Roll it out.
Yeah.
Oh, there's the video. There's the video, Greer. Can we play it?
Got a personal relationship with Donald Trump.
What do you mean by personal relationships?
Have you socialized with him?
Yes, sir.
Yes?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever socialized with Donald Trump in the presence of females under the age of 18?
Though I'd like to answer that question, at least today, I'm going to have to assert my 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendment rights, sir.
Have you ever had a...
Yeah. Hey.
That's all you need to know.
That's all you need to
know. Switching gears right quick. There, another story just now talked about. We talked about a little bit this morning before the show in New York. A black coach, baseball coach. Yeoman Wilder is his name. He's the founder of Harlem Baseball Hitting Academy, and he stepped up when ICE came toward his kids. He huddled with them real quick, told them, don't say a word, not one word at all. Do not answer any questions. And he asserted their Fifth Amendment rights. They were asking them questions like, where you're from, where your parents from, and things of that nature. And this guy stepped up big time. And the reason why this story for me hits is because I played Little League Baseball in New York. And I just remember the camaraderie of those kids, whether you were black, white, Latino, Hispanic, or however, Asian. We played with all sorts of kids. And it's all about just having fun. These kids, we would have a parade that went down Rockaway Boulevard in Queens and up Linden Boulevard toward the Conduit. And I just remember how that during that summer, during those summers of playing baseball, how important it was to get together with all these kids and the parents and the family members and friends. They come out to see you play. This coach says since that incident, only one player has shown up, and barely any friends, family, or fans have shown up to support them. But he's being praised as a hero by the New York City Council as well. I just have to tip my hat to this guy. Greer said she'd like to poll the audience about the. Oh, okay. We'll get to that. I'm sorry, I jumped the gun there, but this guy is awesome, MB. So, just wanted to bring that up for one moment, Niele. That's all.
Yeah, ordinary people doing extraordinary things and standing in the gap when we have a government, a racist government, who is infringing on our rights. And there's no group of people in the United States that understand that more than African Americans, Black folks. And so we need more heroes like this. And I think that brings us to our guest that we have today, Stacy, because as police sanctioned violence continues to grow and have the support of the Trump Klan administration, organizations like Black Lives Matter, Grassroots, is still on the front line, still speaking up for the unspoken and speaking up to police officers. So joining us now is the Black Lives Matter movement coming out of Alabama. We have Eric Hall and Dr. Wayne Harris, who are, good morning.
Good morning.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
I saw you pop up. I might as well say good morning to you. But there's a young man on June 3rd, Jabari Peoples was murdered by Alabama police. Ben Crump is representing the family. And yesterday there was a protest. And 4 people were arrested. And so the tension in Alabama is rising. So Eric, can you talk to us about what happened to Jabari Peoples and why is the Black community so upset about this murder?
So let me say thank you so much for the invitation to be a part and for all that you all do for Black press in America. Jabari Peoples was killed on June 23rd by the Homewood Police Department, which is a small um, suburban area in the greater Birmingham metropolitan area. Jabari Peoples was 18 years old. He was a dreamer, a scholar. He didn't have a criminal history or any type of criminal background. He was really here visiting the city of Birmingham. He had taken his girlfriend out on a date and stopped at a park and was unalived by Homewood police on June 23rd. And so we continue to uplift the name Jabari Peoples because what happened to Jabari should not have never happened, like so many other deaths that we've had to fight for and demand justice, transparency, and accountability. And so that's why we're here. That's why Black Lives Matter Grassroots Birmingham exists. And we're going to continue to keep up the good work and get into good trouble.
Yeah. Eric, an autopsy, an independent autopsy, did determine that Jabari was killed by the police by they shot him in the back. I know forever one of the guidelines for police, regardless of the state you're in, um, is that shooting in the back was greatly prohibited. Has that been something that Attorney Crump or others have brought up in this case?
That is correct. So there, the attorney Ben Crump, we actually had to do a second autopsy. And we're grateful for all of the community partners and Black Lives Matter Grassroots for making that second autopsy possible. Had it not been for the second autopsy, we would not have the information that we have. For example, Jabari Peoples being shot in the back. We know that the bullet that Jabari was killed with um, is no longer in his body. And we're trying to now find out where is the bullet.
Mm,
Um, After Jabari was killed, um, they immediately rushed him to the local hospital and they immediately did a coroner. I mean, the coroner immediately did an autopsy on the body. And the autopsy report that was done has not been released, nor have any
mm,
videos been released. And so, sad reality is the day prior to his burial, actually hours from his funeral, um, Jabari was still being transported from Alabama to Georgia, so that a second autopsy can be done, so that we can start this road to, finding answers as it relates to what happened to Jabari, how Jabari was shot and killed, and so forth.
mm. So we have joining us now as well the communications director for Black Lives Matter Grassroots Alabama. We have Reverend Dr. W. Taft Harris Jr. Hey, how are you
Good.
this morning?
I'm well. Good morning. How are you all?
Good. We're good. So yesterday there was a protest. 4 people were arrested. Can you talk to us about what the protest? Well, we know what the protest was for, but particularly on yesterday, have the 4 people been released? Why were they arrested? Can you give us the information?
On yesterday, action was taken uh, in an escalated form. In our original meetings with the city county manager and the mayor, we said to them to their faces that there was a storm on the ocean,
Mm,
the old church song, and it's moving this way, and that they needed to be anchored because when people feel unheard, Dr. King says that protest. I think Dr. King said riot is the way they respond to the feeling of being unheard. So on yesterday, we met at Homewood Park, soccer park, the place where Jabari was killed by Homewood police. We then made our way to the Circle K gas station on a very busy intersection. And there we determined we would park cars and buy gas per se, and then move into a form of protest. And during these protests, 4 persons were arrested. There was no warning. There was no nothing. They swarmed in like flies, particularly seeming to have targeted Black women, bypassing Black men, particularly a police squad car. We have it on tape. Came about this close to me, and he bypassed me and went right for Black women. And so yesterday it was escalated because we made a promise that if necessary, we would shut the city of Homewood down. Sometimes whiteness and colonialism only understands the hurt that comes involved with economics.
Mm.
We've even had businesses email us and say, please don't come to our business and shut it down. I have a temporary literary misunderstanding. I can't even understand what those emails say because if you have not spoken to your friends, if you have not spoken to your mayor, if you have not spoken to your city council, if you have not spoken to Aaliyah on behalf of this hurting family to see how their son was killed, then I definitely cannot read or respond to your email. And so we called the action on yesterday successful with the successful release of 4 bodies that were incarcerated during this movement. And so this is the first of many actions that we will be boldly taking. We are not standing to only disrupt, but we're standing because justice has been disrupted, because processes have disrupted justice.
Yeah. Dr. Harris, let me ask you to explain briefly. You said that they were targeting Black women instead of the Black men. Why was that?
I have no idea. We know that many times that is what whiteness and colonialism has done, is targeted our Black women. But it felt that way, not just from myself, but from people. We had people as far as Maine and Mobile present protesting. And so it felt that way, and it looked that way. It looked that way. It looked as if they went right for our Black women.
Mm. Yeah, yesterday when I spoke to Eric, as he was talking to me, he was talking about the bail. Do we have the bail money? So I mean, I really caught a piece of you guys in action yesterday. But I want to talk to the both of you. There was a second autopsy. What did the police originally say happened to Jabari Peoples to make the family want to have a second autopsy or question even what was coming out of the police department?
Initially, the police had made a statement, that there was resistance, that Jabari resisted arrest, and they automatically go to, just as, any police department, justification for the police officer. And the reality is we knew that there was different because, one, there was a witness present, and based on witness accounts and our own investigatory team, doing our work, we knew that there was conflicting statements. And so the things just weren't adding up. As it relates to the timeline that was given, there were too many unanswered questions. And so we felt that it was necessary that we do the second autopsy so that we can determine what was the fatal occurrence that killed Jabari. And so we're learning, and we're still piecemealing because the state has not turned over anything to the attorneys. They hadn't turned over an autopsy report, which the attorneys have filed a petition to get that information. Of course, the family has not yet seen a video, or a video hadn't been released. And so we, the community, we're looking for answers, and we're investing at this point in those answers, because the same system that we pay into, of course, don't protect us and give us the answers that we're seeking. And so we have to find those answers.
And I add to
And
that
okay.
transparency is always essential. It is essential to knowing what really happened, but it is also essential to help the grieving process of the people's family. This transparency. And so when we look at this, understand that the best chopped and screwed videos are not rappers. They are videos from across the country that have gotten chopped and screwed when something has happened to black bodies. And you get the video back, it's all chopped up. It's all
Yeah.
edited.
Well,
They
and Dr. Harris and Mr. Hall, the autopsy you speak of, the second autopsy, because you don't know the findings of it was inconclusive according to the what we understand of the preliminary autopsy anyway, but the second one found that he had been shot in the back and there was no exit wound, so therefore the bullet remained inside of him, right?
The bullet should remain inside of him. However, the bullet was not present. And Attorney Crump and the legal team made sure to express that during a press conference, that, where's the bullet that killed Jabari Peoples? And so that, just like the other information, we're fighting to locate and get.
That is horrific.
Yes.
So what's next? You brought up civil rights attorney Ben Crump. What's the next call to action for this family and for Jabari?
The next call is going to be August the 4th, actually, and I'll let Eric will go more into that. That is when the family has asked community to join them in the courthouse.
Yeah.
Wow.
So there's the first court appearance for the initial filing of the petition to get that information provided. The community, we're going to provide court support, as we always do, for all impacted families. And so we're going to show up at the courthouse to stand in solidarity, stand in love, in demanding justice for Jabari Peoples. And so we do anticipate having a large presence from community members across the state of Alabama, from his hometown in Aliceville, Alabama, to people from Birmingham and other places. They're going to stand in solidarity with this family. And I do want to add this. There are daily actions, just as we've done several protests prior to what took place on yesterday. We occupied the mayor's office. We've led marches on the streets. And so we're going to continue to show up on a daily basis. And our presence may be at Homewood Police Department, or it may be at downtown Homewood, or it may be at a local store. But they will feel the presence of Black Lives Matter grassroots within the city of Homewood. And I want to thank our team, all of the organizations that have stood up for justice, from our civil rights soldiers like the Birmingham chapter of the SCLC, the NAACP, Birmingham Urban League, Cell A65, Faith and Works. There are so many organizations that have come together in demanding the state do the right thing and release the video. And so we're grateful for all of our partners. We are well organized. even in our call for an economic boycott in the city of Homewood. Um, we are serious about getting justice for Jabari peoples.
Let me ask you both before you go. Alabama recently passed HB 202, which is a bill expanding legal immunity for police officers in both criminal and civil cases. It's called the Blue
Back to Blue
Bill.
Act. Yeah.
Yeah. What has Black Lives Matter? What are you guys doing down there as in opposition to this bill?
Well, our stance is always end police immunity. We're going to continue to fight to end police immunity. And in places like Alabama, you have to realize Alabama is still the home of the Confederacy. It's still the
Absolutely.
very ruby red state. And some of the things that you see in DC, we get it first here in Alabama. And so as they are passing laws to add protections to protect the police, as a community, we are building resources to ensure community protections from the police and also ways to hold the police accountable. And so we know that we have a mandate to keep us safe, to keep communities safe. And so we are organizing, we're building power with community every day. And we're pushing back against that legislation, but we're also investing in organizations on the ground to ensure the safety, especially of Black and brown people.
That's so
That
important. So
that
important. Go
legislation
ahead.
that legislation is ungodly in so many ways. And
Mhm.
so, as Eric has said, while we are building power in the process of protesting with the family of Jabari peoples, we also have to take a look at this legislation and a look at its legislators.
Yeah, yeah, and as Eric said so eloquently, folks should really watch what happens down there in Alabama because it is true. When you see a bill like that, that means it's headed to Washington too. So
Yeah. And if there's not even really populating around other states on a state
right.
level. Thank you, gentlemen, so much for joining us this morning. This is an open invitation. Please keep us updated on what's happening for accountability for Jabari peoples. We appreciate you. And of course, Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives
Thanks
Matter.
a lot. Well, that's it's really a shame that we continue to have to talk about stories like that they continue to happen. And we know that under this current administration, they are legalizing it even more. So,
Yeah. And there's more things going on than the Jeffrey Epstein files and the ludicrous actions of the Trump clan administration, which are impacting Black people like this right here. And so to have a space to where we continue to amplify these stories are so important. We have some more headlines to jump
before
into.
you get to it,
What?
I got one more.
Stacy, I was about to do that. Go ahead.
I got one more. You know I got to say this. Come on now. Prince is back. Not alive, unfortunately, but remixed, remastered, and reimagined. The acclaim. That's right. 1987 concert. It's probably the best, most decorated concert film of all time. When you think of concert films, many will think of course, Michael Jackson's "This Is It," which after his death, everyone was really interested in seeing those rehearsals, which was the concert film "This Is It." And of course, Elvis's 1968 comeback special was also among the big three in concert films, but the biggest, Sign of the Times. And for a limited run starting August 28th, um, it will be in IMAX theaters nationwide. Looking forward to it so much. And those who have the privilege of going on their first date on August 28th, I should say, will receive a special commemorative concert ticket from the Sign of the Times tour from way back in 1987. And that was, other than the Revolution, that was probably Prince's best band.
Mm. Cool.
Without question. Yeah. And so many people have died though, Niele, from Prince's band, including that particular band, including the female singer. I don't remember her name. You had Brooks and the other guy. They passed away. And Cat Glover, who actually directed Sign of the Times concert film, and she was his muse in that film. She also recently actually passed away. So this is a tribute to all of them, not just the great Prince. So y'all got to check it out. I'm there. I got tickets. I got family going with me. We going. So
What
there
are
you have
the
it.
when is it airing again? When can people
It
go watch it?
starts. It's going to be on in IMAX theater starting August the 28th.
Nice.
Yeah,
All right,
it's a
there you
limited
have it.
run, 1 week, 1 week
Yeah.
only.
Make sure you get your tickets, y'all. All right, let's head to Detroit. One of Detroit's most prominent pastors, Bishop Charles Ellis III, this week he notified his congregation that a former member with whom he had inappropriate relationship was leveling false allegations. Now, Ellis, of course, is the senior pastor of the popular Greater Grace Temple. He told his church in a letter that he turned to his bishop around the time he was involved with the woman. And he said these indiscretions were addressed in a redemptive process, which included counseling. Now, Ellis is married and has 3 children. And if you're not familiar, he's a very popular pastor. Greater Grace sits on a 20-acre campus known as the City of David. And it also houses some of his endeavors, which includes a travel agency, daycare, charter school, and a television and recording studio, and a funeral home. So he has
Good
a
Lord.
whole city in the City of David. Now, Ellis and Greater Temple were in the national spotlight, if you recall, because they hosted the funerals of civil rights icon Rosa Parks in 2005 and Aretha Franklin in 2018. So he's a very popular pastor. And basically, he admitted to the indiscretions, but I guess he doesn't like what the woman is coming out and saying now. So, you know.
Patricia Jackson said, please get rid of Viagra. What?
I mean,
Goodness
go
grief.
ahead.
RG says that's some, he said now that is some raw church
real
mess.
church mess. Oh Lord, he said. Yeah, I mean, I guess he don't see nothing wrong with a little bump and grind. I don't know.
Gosh.
But he said he talked to his bishop and he has been redeemed, and now she coming out of the past. But I think the fact that he had to send a letter to his congregation, he was worried about his tithes and offering. Okay. Don't run away. Don't run away. I've been redeemed, he said. So we'll
his
pray
bishop redeemed him.
His bishop, he talked to his bishop about it. And so and this happened like 15 years ago, he said, but the girl is coming out. And a couple people have tried to talk to her, but
that's him.
That's him. That's Bishop
the
Ellis.
one that groped Ariana Grande at Aretha.
Now, are we saying did he grope her or did he just put his
her.
arm around her?
And you saw Jesse and them in the background at that funeral checking Ariana Grande. Oh, that was such a horrible display of all those men on that platform.
David Youngblood said he was worried about his continued employment.
Okay.
So that's coming out of Detroit, and the young lady or the woman who is making these allegations, a couple people have asked her for interviews, and she asked, "How much are you paying?"
Oh God!
She want to know how much.
But MB always has a line for us, Niele. He says, "Was his redemption notarized?"
Ooh, okay. Well, only God knows. Only God knows. The only person that can notarize that is the good Lord himself. Okay.
Oh man. Oh gosh.
So we'll continue to monitor that story and see if the woman goes any further than what she's already going.
You want to be paid.
Yeah, because clearly she ruffled his feathers because he sent the letter out Monday night to his congregation. And so yeah, and so look, Let It Be Known got an exclusive copy of the letter. Okay, so let's go. Let's jump into some
We ain't
sports.
paying her to come on. Let it be known, though.
Well, she didn't write the letter. He did. We got the church letter.
Oh God.
So in more, let's jump into some sports news. This is really important to pay attention to. Team USA has banned transgender women from competing in female Olympic categories. And this includes the Paralympics as well. Now, the shift follows the February executive order from Donald Trump calling it keeping men out of women's sports. The Olympic Committee has not really detailed how this policy will be enforced or whether it will apply to men's categories. So my issue is, if it's going to be for transgender women, why can't it be for transgender men? I mean, it should be across the board, right? Why would you only pick on the transgender women and not the men? That's the only issue I have with it.
Let me ask you a question. What if you found out that Donald Trump is really Donna, and that's why he's doing all. They always say, listen, when they talk about his manhood, if you will, they always say micro and this and that they don't know if it's there or not. Hey, it might be something to it.
Okay. But on a serious note, I kind of agree with this ruling. I just don't agree with that. It's not across the board for men and women. I do believe that transgender women, they still have the autonomy and the strength of a man. And so if I was to get into a fist fight with a transgender woman, in my mind, I'm still fighting a man, because you're still as strong as you was when you was the man. And so I kind of agree with this. I think that as our society evolves with the queer community, so should be our practices. So why not create a transgender category to make it inclusive for everybody? But as a woman, let women run. A transgender woman running in a woman's 100-meter track race, the balance, it's just off. I mean, that's just how I feel. I'm just, hey.
Well, Dr. Nicole says, I don't think men are worried about a transgendered ex man beating them in a sport.
Exactly. That's the point. That's the point, which is unfair to me. Like, if we're going to make this across the board, if this is going to be a rule, it should apply for transgender men and women, not just women. That's just how I feel about it.
I think the only problem when you said, why don't they have a category just for transgenders? I think that you'll have, and I agree with everything y'all are saying. So believe me, I'm not trying to argue one way or the other. But I think what you'll have is, now you have an open target now for a Donald Trump or somebody like a Donald Trump to go after them and eliminate it anyway.
Well, they just did. They're going after him anyway. I think to me it's even as simple as like the bathrooms. If we're going to talk about it, like, I think that there should be a transgender bathroom so that it's inclusive and everybody is represented. As society evolves and we're becoming more inclusive and acceptance to whatever anybody wants to be, we should make space for it as well. We shouldn't just try to compartmentalize it in, what life was created, man and woman, and now we're evolving to transgender and LGBTQ plus. And so I feel like we need to make space. We shouldn't try to stuff everything in a man and woman box. We should expand the options. That's all I'm saying.
It makes sense. Makes sense.
And
again, I think somebody else agreed with the whole transgender bathroom thing too. I have to agree with that, because I don't want, if you have a child, or anybody really, you don't want, just like a man shouldn't go in a woman's bathroom, a woman should go in you should have. So yeah, I agree. Let me just leave it at that. I agree.
Yeah, just evolve with time. I remember maybe about 10 years ago at my church, they were having this issue because they had a large amount of transgender women starting to come to the church. And so the church was trying to decide, should they create a transgender bathroom or should they just, I mean, and I'm just like, it's not rocket science. If you want to be inclusive, expand. Don't force it in one of two boxes. You need a third box now. We need a third box. And if we
They
need
have
a
the
fourth,
family bathrooms too, right?
well,
Which
that's
is
you're talking about kids. You really don't want them in the family bathroom.
right, right.
And we
So
want
there
to
you
be
go.
inclusive. We want to be welcoming. We want to accept that society has expanded. So let's expand everything and be fair. That's all I'm saying. All right, we're going to continue in the sports, and this is a story that you really have passion and opinion about. And I'm talking about Venus Williams, who just won her first single match in 2 years at the DC Open.
Look at
Now
them legs.
the 45-year-old champ made history. Only one other woman, Martina Navratilova, ever has won a tour level single match while older. Her last victory came, and I'm talking about Martina Navratilova, at the age of 47 in 2004. But the bigger conversation that you wanted to have is about a comment that Venus made, and I'll let you take it from here.
Yeah, she said she came back and now she laughed about it and she may have been joking. For healthcare benefits, that it was a problem with Cobra or whatever. I can't quote her verbatim, but it raised a lot of eyebrows, with many asking, like myself, was she serious about that? And it wouldn't be surprising on one hand that she would be serious about that, or at least making a statement.
They informed me earlier this year I'm on Cobra. So I was like, I got to get my benefits on. Started.
She's actually not lying about that, because we talked about that about 6 years ago. So you're actually telling the truth. You know, insurance is hard.
Insurance, you guys know what it's like. And let me tell you, I'm always at the doctor. So I need this insurance.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's eye raising, and for a lot of reasons. You know, even if she's just joking with her particular case, it really tells a damning story about the state of healthcare, that it's so bad, you know, that somebody would literally have to come out of retirement so they could ensure that they keep health benefits.
Yeah. I mean, I think she was I think she was just shining light on you know, her age more so than anything. And just looking at that clip again, I guess when you reach a certain age within the tennis association, you're not active anymore, right? Just like a job, you're not active or you get laid off. So now we're going to refer you to Cobra, and then eventually you'll have to pay for your health care yourself. So for the common person, yeah, it's a problem. But she definitely thought it was a joke. And it was a good play on words for her. But to your point, for sure, like, what does it say? But I mean, that's just been the process for ever. You know, you get laid off.
Well, it's more telling and more hurtful now than ever with what they have done with healthcare, what this administration in particular has done and is doing. Look, they have eliminated with the Affordable Care Act. They've now eliminated subsidies beginning in January. So listen, just to be frank, someone like myself who already pays about $900 a month, now I will be paying about $1,600 a month for healthcare. That's a whole lot of money. The premium, that's just the premium. Co-pays, you know, emergency room co-pays.
You have to get an MRI. Yeah,
MRI,
you have to get an MRI.
I know about that. That's $300 for the copay.
A mammogram, you know.
Yeah, exactly. So it's extremely costly, and we haven't even talked about deductibles.
Right.
So, you know, so I realized Serena Venus, that is you know, is a multi-millionaire. But as I continue to say, I have never run into a millionaire who loves to spend money. And they like to hold on to their money. And healthcare, healthcare is extremely expensive even for millionaires. So
Well, look, I
for
don't,
her to make that
that's their
statement.
problem,
Yeah.
because
Oh,
you
well,
can
it's our
afford
problem,
it.
really, more than
You
theirs,
know,
because like you said, they can afford it. They don't want to pay it. They can afford it, but they don't want to pay it.
yeah,
We can't afford it, and we have to pay it.
right, right,
That's the problem.
right.
So,
I
and ask the audience. I'm sorry, Niele. Ask the audience. Greer says, do you guys think she was serious?
and while we're waiting for them to chime in, I like Nicole McDaniel's comment, which is I like that terminology. Some will be offended by trans bathrooms. A gender neutral one is likely preferred. I like that name for the outside. So you have men, woman, gender neutral.
Mike Mike V is asking me have I thought about relocating to Canada, maple leaf brown. Listen, so in fact I have thought about that, Mike V. I really have. Is it going to happen? Probably not, but I have actually given it some thought, not a whole lot, but some.
Oh, so you want
So,
to be like Rosie O'Donnell and what's her Ellen what's her name? DeGeneres.
well,
She moved to Europe, and Rosie O'Donnell, she moved to Ireland. Yeah. Yeah.
Ellen looks like she aged about 30 years since she left television.
Mm.
I hate to say that. I mean, she has such a great, at least on screen personality. She had some employees come out and say how mean she was, whatever. I'm not gonna discount them because they work with her. I don't think I've ever even met Ellen, but on screen she looks like the happiest person in the world, the most delightful person anyway in the world. So.
Mm. Another one, Nicole McDaniel says, thus, gender neutral restrooms should be single person use, not multiple stalls. I mean,
Hey,
she's
see,
there.
Dr. Nicole got it together. That's what I like. That's what I like. And they also, and I meant to mention this earlier, Dr. Joni, speaking of the doctors, Dr. Joni said that we should take away the Democrats' black card. And Greer also suggested taking away the black card of the individual at the top who didn't know who Malcolm Jamal Warner was or never watched the Cosby Show. So
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, we have just a couple more headlines to get through. This is a interesting one for all you NBA fans. After recently stating that this upcoming season may be his very last, NBA veteran point guard Chris Paul has decided to come on home and sign with the Los Angeles Clippers, marking a return to the team he previously played with. Now, according to the Clippers, he is coming home after leaving the franchise at the end of 2017. Now, the future NBA Hall of Famer played with the Clippers from 2011 to 2016-17 season, and details were not released on the length of the contract or the amount he'll be making. But the Clippers definitely need some star power on that team. And Chris Paul does a lot out here in LA, especially with the Brotherhood Crusade, which was founded by Danny Bakewell Sr., publisher of the LA Sentinel newspaper. So a lot of people are excited that Chris Paul is finally coming home and maybe even bringing the LA Clippers their first championship. I don't know about that. You can let us know.
I don't know about that. But
Yeah.
but the thing with Chris Paul, first of all, that's for me, that's news because I did not know he had chosen a team. I know that everybody had been waiting for him to choose a team, but I think it's such a misnomer to say he's coming home. He started in New Orleans and Oklahoma City with the Hornets. So
Well, we say he's coming home. We know he's coming home because his foundation does a lot of work out here in LA.
yeah,
And so it's just
he's a great
exciting to
leader.
see. He's a great, and so is his family. His organization, his nonprofit, he works a lot with the youth, providing opportunities for inner city youth. I mean, he'll take them. I interviewed him a couple years ago for the Sentinel, and every year in the summer he comes out. He takes over UCLA campus. He allows students from all across the country, from the inner city, to stay there. They have great workshops. And they just have a college experience. And these are things that they have never had the opportunity to experience, college campus, meeting high profile people, and just having people really uplift their spirits and hearing the stories of where they come from. I mean, Chris Paul, outside of basketball, Winston-Salem. He tells a story about his grandfather and the gas station. His parents come out. I mean, it's just such a beautiful thing to see an athlete, doing more than just dribbling the ball and caring about, how big his contract's going to be.
Well, we had a couple of responses in the chat, other than Mike V saying that I'm getting my mayonnaise mixed up with my raisins again. Orange, he says that he believes Venus was serious. He says, and I cuss out the VA every month. I have to pay $26 for my health insurance. It was free. Thanks, Trump. And Stephanie Humphreys says it sounded like Venus was highlighting the high cost of healthcare in a joking way, like Niele mentioned. Stephanie Humphrey says whether she was serious about it for herself, I'm not sure. So there's mixed reaction there. Folks are not totally sure, but either way, it does highlight, like you said, the fact that healthcare costs is just out of this world, and something needs to be done, but it's not going to be done. It's going the other way. So.
Right. And you're right, Orangey. He does, Chris Paul does do a lot for HBCUs. He even started a basketball classic, I think it was,
Yep.
with Invictus, I believe it was.
I'm not sure, but I know he does.
Yeah, and he does that as well. So yeah, just good guy. I'm excited he's coming to LA. Can't wait to go to the Intuit Dome to check him out. And our last story for today is the shy and drumline actor Jason Weaver has officially, as you know, we've been talking about all of these celebrities that have become inducted into these Divine Nine organization. Well, Jason Weaver has officially been inducted as an honorary member of Kappa Alpha Psi Incorporated. Now, Weaver's big moment came during the organization's national convention in Lexington, Kentucky. And so he's been posting like crazy that he is a Noop and a member of Kappa Alpha Psi. So congratulations to him.
All right. That's pretty cool, I guess. We've had all these honorary members coming out of the woodworks. Folks, we're going to give you some Black history. On this date in 1807, Black Shakespearean actor Ira Frederick Aldrich was born. It is not clear now whether his birth took place in New York, Maryland, or on the continent of Africa. But one thing about which there is no question is his extraordinary acting talent. Aldrich was educated in New York at the African, not American, African Free School and Schenectady College, where he is believed to have developed his interest in theater and acting. As a teen, he performed with the African Grove Theater in New York, which was reportedly the first U.S. theater managed by African Americans. He went on to study at the University of Glasgow in Scotland before making his stage debut in London in 1825. He performed the role of Prince Orinoco of Africa in The Revolt of Suriname, or A Slave's Revenge. And he also achieved true acclaim in the role of Othello, which he performed at the Covent Garden Theater in 1833. He also played King Lear and Macbeth. So that is a great Black fact for us to note, that on this date way back in 1807, Ira Frederick Aldrich, a Black Shakespearean actor, was born.
Okay, and on this date in 1802, French novelist Alexandre Dumas was born. Dumas was a French author and playwright who became one of the country's most widely read authors. Now, he's best known for his historical adventure novels, including The Three Musketeers and The Count of Monte Cristo. Now, his works have been translated into over 100 languages, and Dumas also founded a theater in Paris.
Right, those 1800 photos, they all looked so crazy. Oh
Yes,
gosh.
yes. So, and I who knew that the Three Musketeers and the Count of Monte Cristo? I never knew it was written by a black man. Now, of course, he's biracial. His father, I think, was French, and his mother was actually a slave. But I never knew that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and the Ira, who I just talked about, also was mixed as well. But again, we're talking about the 1800s. We're talking
Mhm.
about, slave master and slave for the most part, right?
Right.
um, our black-owned newspaper or outlet of the day is Rolling Out. If it's on Rolling Out, it resonates with the black community, including the brands and advertising partners that stand behind them. Rolling Out provides talent, influencers, editorial, and video that can be leveraged on rollingout.com, OTT social media channels, and corporate sites, press releases, brand lift studies, and engagement tactics to further expand audience reach. Rolling Out is a community of multi-hyphenate storytellers that live the culture it reports on. The publication was born out of a need for Black culture to see authentic and uplifting depictions of itself. Rolling Out's platform inspires, informs, and enhances Black cultural development through knowledge and skill set transfer. So our Black-owned media company or newspaper is Rolling Out.
Yeah, I like that publication. It gives you a sense, a little bit of nostalgia when you think of Right On magazine,
Yep.
The Source magazine and Rap Pages. It kind of gives you all of that, but also some commentary that's important to Black folks. Love that publication. And of course, for the latest in Black news, you can head over to BlackPressUSA.com.
There you go. And for the next edition of Let It Be Known, tune in tomorrow. Have a good day, everybody.